Hello and welcome to Wasted Plotential, where we discuss the wasted potential of our favourite plotlines. Harry Potter is up there as one of the most poorly utilised IPs on the planet right now. This is a setting with a secret wizarding world hidden from non-magic people with thousands of years of history to explore, so why is it that all we've had since the original book series ended is a fanfiction tier sequel about bloody time travel, and a film series about an English wizard in the early 20th century going to a few other countries and fighting the previous wizard Hitler? There's so much more you could do with the setting than JK and WB have done so far. Revolving the series around Newt Scamander was a mistake. He's a great lead with a great actor portraying him, but crowbarring him into events he clearly was never intended to be a part of seriously limits the setting. I propose that the post-HP film series should not have been the Fantastic Beasts series, but instead the Wizarding World series. This hypothetical series would trade in the ongoing narrative for a series of one-offs that can be set at any time, in any place, and in any genre. Here are a few examples. Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. For all the flack I'll be giving the series in this video, starting off with Fantastic Beasts was absolutely the right call. It has a lot of name recognition thanks to being a book both in-universe and out, exploring more magical creatures is a good hook, the time frame allows things to be different but still familiar, and Newt's grandson marrying Luna Lovegood added to Newt's presence in the minds of many fans. As a starting point, it was a brilliant move, but that's all it should have been. A starting point. Newt's story should have stayed as a fun adventure story about magical creatures. He should not have joined up with the characters taking on Grindelwald and become the villain's primary foe. It's like if Steve Irwin had joined up with the SEAL team that took down Osama bin Laden. It's silly. Now don't get me wrong, Eddie Redmayne is great in the role and I don't want to limit him to just one film. I could see a sequel where Newt meets Edward Slimmer while the latter is writing the Monster Book of Monsters and the two become rivals, but that's as far as Newt's leading role should go, just simple stories about magical creatures. He can still cameo in other films that aren't centered on magical creatures though. Maybe a character is dealing with a magical creature and either goes to consult Newt about it, or he's there doing research himself and passes on what he's learned about the creature, which can come into play later in the film when the lead characters need to use it. The Crimes of Grindelwald. We remove Newt from the equation and focus on Dumbledore going up against his titular former lover. This is your larger scale, more dramatic film to help showcase the range of tones this franchise can utilise. Now we need to discuss the insert magical elephant-like creature here in the room. I can accept Dumbledore's sexuality not being brought up in the book, since it really would be difficult to find a way to naturally introduce the idea when the main character is someone to whom Dumbledore divulging such information would be a tad inappropriate. But once it was decided that they were going to make a film about Dumbledore's lover, with Albus himself showing up as a major character, the trigger should absolutely have been pulled on hard confirming it, since there's an argument to be made that if it's not in the official materials, it's not canon, no matter how hard the writers insist it's the case. I don't know if it's the studio wanting to play it safe so they could release the film in homophobic markets, or if it was the highly controlling hand of JK that made the decision, but whoever is responsible is a fucking coward. When you're so woke, your eyelids meet around the back and close again. If Dumbledore and Grindelwald had a strong homosexual relationship, as JK claims, then make the movie with Grindelwald's name in the goddamn title be about that. Make Albus the lead, either having half the film follow them as friends until they're torn apart by their diverging moralities, or being post-divide with multiple flashbacks to their time together to show how the two really don't want to fight each other. Certainly sounds more interesting than a magic zookeeper fighting Wizard Hitler while the latter's ex watches from the fucking sidelines. Quidditch through the ages. Considering we haven't seen a full game of Quidditch since 2002, a movie all about the sport would definitely interest a large portion of the fanbase. And combine that with the name of another book we have in the real world which helps to sell the movie. Imagine a 90s sports film about a plucky team of underdogs where the sport is Quidditch. Sounds pretty cool, right? And you could make it about a team that's been referenced in the canon already. Maybe they start under a different name and then change to their more recognisable name once they achieve success for that holy shit reaction from the audience. If it's a European team, one of the characters could be from Beauxbatons or Durmstrang, giving us a few early scenes showing off that school as the character learns to fly and joins the house's team before transitioning to their post-school life. And give us another Quidditch video game, goddammit! The Four Founders. A film following the four founders of Hogwarts after whom the four houses are named. Maybe we can humanise Slytherin a bit to make his house look less like a Hitler Youth training camp that everyone knows about. Honestly, the handling of that house is probably the worst thing in any of the books if you don't count the unbelievably poor handling of love potions. The Marauders Map. A film about James Potter and his gang during their school life and, for example, making their map. The Tales of Beedle the Bard. This could be either a film about Beedle writing the stories inspired by things that actually happen around him, or a series of animated shorts using the art style used to depict the tale of the three brothers, all narrated by Beedle himself, or guest starring various Harry Potter actors reprising their roles as if reading these stories to their own children. And that's phase 1. You do the obvious ones that slowly broaden the scope of the setting with other countries and time periods, and then you go broader. You bring in foreign filmmakers and consult with experts to collaborate on films with much more diverse settings and plots. You can delve into other magic types from around the world and explore how they work in the wizarding world. For instance, you can do a film about Onmyo magic in 10th century Japan, or Chinese wizards battling a scourge of Jiangxi during the Qing dynasty. There's a lot you could use from our world to enrich the wizarding one. Of course, they're not all like this. You still have a few safer, broader appeal type movies to release in between, like a buddy cop movie about two auras going after a wizard serial killer. Maybe these two consult Newt about the magical creature the villain employs. This could even be where Maledictuses are introduced. One of the obvious benefits of this approach is that each film is less a new installment of a franchise and more a completely new film within a shared setting. That way, if you have a film that's not so great, you've got something completely different to look forward to next time. Rather than going from the underwhelming Crimes of Grindelwald to hoping the Secrets of Dumbledore can fix its predecessor's issues, you instead go from Crimes of Grindelwald to Quidditch Through the Ages. Think of it as like being disappointed by Thor the Dark World and then having Captain America the Winter Soldier to look forward to. If they'd approached it this way, I think the Wizarding World could well have been the cinematic universe to rival the MCU, rather than a directionless, subpar continuation of a popular series. You know, at least until JK put her foot in her mouth again. Speaking of, can we please try to keep the discourse in the comments focused on the way the setting is utilised and not whether or not JK is a bad person? That's a fine conversation to have, but I don't really care to sift through dozens of comments about it. If you dislike JK for any reason at all, that is fine, but I ask that you keep the discourse here focused on the wasted potential of the setting, and then go rewatch Spider-Man 2 and I'm sure your view on JK will be positive again. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and support me on Patreon like these fine people here? If not, then you shall be ostracized like Harry in like half the books. Today's recommended video is Harry Potter Games Part 1 by Mistress Dove. A certain someone may or may not have a little cameo in it, so you might want to check that out, I don't know. Seriously JK, find a new plot beat.